When I think about some of the most impactful films that I've seen in the last couple of years, three of them have mostly Asian casts: Crazy Rich Asians, Parasite, and Minari. And they all also have economics and class as a major factor in a way that's surprising. What do you think that says about where we are in expressing Asian and Asian American identity?
Well, first, I love that our movie is in the same class as those two other movies that you described. I think it says a lot about where we're headed. Actually, I think that representation means, it's a word and people talk about it all the time, but actually representation is showing the world who you are at its most intimate levels, of showing your languages, not just actual word language, but the love language of food, the love language of insults, of class in terms of what self-worth is, not just the worth of your car. And I think that's what we tried to do in the movie, is to really spin it so that what is an Asian American who has going through a cultural identity crisis feels when they go to Asia for the first time and they realize they belong, both worlds are theirs. And how do you figure that out?
Yeah, and opportunity is this theme and undercurrent running through all of these things. Who do you have the opportunity to be in society, whether that's Korean society, American society in the present, in the past, et cetera? What about in Hollywood? Do Asian American voices, Asian American writers, directors have a lot more ground to go in having the full opportunity to express?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I would say one of the biggest barriers for me growing up was the fact that people didn't think Hollywood was a place for an Asian American director. There were Asian directors from other places, but an Asian American director, the voice of that, the who we are and what we have to say, I think wasn't quite there yet. And so, yeah, I think we have a lot to say and therefore a lot to do. And I think the doors are opening now. Many people before me, I did not open that door. I'm actually a result of all the organizations and great sort of kindness of people who've donated to get me that opportunity. But yes, I think there's a lot to do, and I think sharing our culture is on the big screen where people have to pay money or subscribe to, saying we're worth your time and your space to hear our stories, is huge. And we can't just tell one type of stories. All type of stories of all people through all walks of life. And so I think we're on that march. We're in the very beginning, but it seems like the door's opening more and more, and a lot more work to do.
And I know I love that movie personally, Jon, Crazy Rich Asians, and I'm so glad that so many others loved it too, regardless of race, regardless of background. They embraced that movie. They embraced the characters. At the same time, there was some controversy, and this begs the question of, is all representation good representation? There was an article, and I'm sure you know it, by The Atlantic back in 2018 when the film was released, basically saying that there is some degree of whitewashing in Crazy Rich Asians, that there's a portrayal of Asian Americans and Asians that would be acceptable to whites. Should we be concerned about these sorts of criticisms and how we are portrayed on the screen?
I'm all for criticisms. That's the point of art, is to start the conversation and to have these conversations. By the way, we weren't able to be a part of before. They were being decided behind closed doors by people that I was in the room with. I heard it when they said, you can't cast this person or that person because they don't travel internationally. I was there, and I believed those things back in the day. And so when given the opportunity to flip the script and show the face of Asians from all around the world, of people that I know, my friends in Hong Kong and Singapore, and my brothers and my sisters and my aunts and uncles, and all the ways they come and all the forms, that we can make fun of them ourselves, and that we own that dialogue and we decide who gets to play what parts, even if we disagree. I'm never offended by somebody being offended at what I just did. I'm down to, like, let's figure this out. Let's have that conversation, because I don't think the rules are there. Now we're in the room, partly in the room. Now we get to decide how to move forward.